So we are now recording, which of course means I didn't tell you this. Whenever I switch the display, it's not calibrated any longer. So you get to watch this in the movie, which by the way, I was so sad I made those review videos for chapter 2. There are 2 videos. One person watched one of them, and 2 people watched one, and that was it. That's so sad. So I've given you a whole bunch of things to do here. But I basically start off with, you have 2 points. 0, 2, and 1, negative 1. And the first thing I say is you have to find the slope. So what do I use to find the slope? What's the slope formula? Who wants to hear their voice on the video? Okay, so what's the slope formula?
y2 minus y1 and the line x2 minus x1.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll hear you because the thing's all the way up here. Do you want to come up and say closer to the microphone? But he said y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it doesn't matter which I use as my first or my second. So I'm just going to do 2 minus negative 1 over 0 minus 1. So that's the same as 2 plus 1, right? So that's 3. And 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And 3 over negative 1 is the same as negative 3 over 1, which is the same as negative 3. So my slope, yes?
Wouldn't that be a positive 1?
0 minus 1. Yes, it becomes 2 plus 1, which is 3. Okay? Welcome, Mr. Parks. We are recording a video on how to do this. And Mr. Parks just gave us the thumbs up, which you can't see, because all you can see on the video is my computer screen. So what I wanted you to do next, and this is where it gets confusing, I wanted you, now that you have the slope, to write 2 different equations. I wanted you to write, yes? Yes. So point slope equation number 1 is you're using this okay? So you should have there, I'm just going to refresh your memory, it's y minus y sub 1 equals m x minus x sub 1. The sub 1 means the x and the y in the first pair. I want you to see, doesn't matter what pair we use, it's going to work. So y minus my x sub 1 is 2. Okay, x sub 1 meaning x with the 1 below it. My slope is negative 3, x minus 0. I know that looks weird, but that is your point slope form. You don't have to really do any math to put this in, do you? Okay, now I'm going to change colors so you can follow along a little bit better. I'm going to write another equation using the point that I've highlighted up there in magenta. Y minus negative 1 equals the slope of negative 3, x minus 1. So this is minus negative 1 because the y value of this point is negative 1. The x value is 1, so it's minus 1. Yes, although I'm going to simplify in a minute.
So negative 3 equals m.
Yes, negative 3 equals m because m is your slope. Okay? So to simplify this, y plus 1. Okay? So my point slope forms for this equation look different because I've used different points. Okay? But I'm writing an equation, if this helps you, for a line. And I've said, let's make a grid real quick. I know, and if they're watching the video at home, like I can speak, you're a little bored watching me make this video. Oh no, it's a white line. I don't want a white line. Can't see that. Oh, there we go. What? So basically what we're saying here when we do this is I had 2 points, 0, 2, and 1, -1. And I drew a line between them. Oh no, that's off slightly. Okay? But every time that you have these, you're not going to graph them, correct? So if I wanted to, from here, I could probably say, oh, if I'm writing this in slope-intercept form, the y-intercept is 2, correct? The slope is going down. It's going down 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1 is a slope that we found of -3, correct? So I'm going back here and just reviewing here. If I plotted these 2 points and I drew a line, I get an equation. What we're doing here is we're writing these equations without graphing. Our point slope equations look different because point slope means you're dealing with a point on the line. If I look at this line, there's lots of points on this line, correct? There's lots of points. So now the next thing you were asked to do, you have the equation everybody should have on their paper. Point slope equation 1, point slope equation 2, correct? So you're going to help me remember these, because now I'm going to write them over here. What was point slope equation number 1?
1 minus 2 equals -3, parentheses, x minus 0, parentheses.
Okay, and the other one was?
Y plus 1 equals -3, parentheses,
X minus 1. When I convert these equations, what you're doing in the next steps, convert equation 1 to slope-intercept and convert equation 2 to slope-intercept. We already saw the line, right? They should have the same equation. If they don't, we've done something wrong somewhere. So to convert these, the first thing I need to do is distribute. -3 times x is, -3 times x is -3x. And -3 times 0 is, -3 times 0 is 0. Any number times 0 is still 0. Is it in slope-intercept form yet? No, because I have to what? Add 2 to both sides. I'm not adding the 2, I'm not combining it with the -3x. Correct? I'm not combining the 2 with the 3x because they're not like terms. Oh, this is good. This is looking like the equation I just got when I graphed it, correct? If I did this all right, this one will look the same also. What's -3 times x? What's -3 times -1? +3. Okay, what do I do next?
Subtract 1.
Subtract 1. This time I have a 3 to subtract it from. Yay, do they match? Woohoo, I did it right. And now the last step was, they should match
Standard form.
into standard form. So, what do we do for standard form? We need the x and the y's on the same side. So I'm going to add the 3x term to both sides. And I'm going to put the x first, then the y. Woohoo! So you're doing, am I doing the next one?
Yeah,
Well, let's do the next one. Sure, why not? We're still videoing, right?
correct.
So thrilling. So we can do this one a little bit faster. Now if you're watching at home and you don't have your work, you can do it right here. Can we stop whistling though? I know I'm attractive. I'm not that attractive. Okay. So I'm going to subtract this way because 6 minus negative 3 is the same as 6 plus 3, right? And 4 minus negative 2 is the same as 4 plus 2. So I get 9/6. And that simplifies to what?
3 over 2.
3 over 2. And as if you have not learned yet in this class, always, 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 always give Mrs. Falk improper fractions. Do not do mixed numbers. Do not. Thank you. Who said it? Do not, say it loud so they can hear you at home in the video.
Do decimals.
Do not do decimals. Drives me crazy.
And especially when you're getting slope, because slope is a rise over the run.
And when you start counting, it's much easier to just count 3 over 2. Okay, so I'll come back here. No, I won't come back here. That's the way I want. So now I'm going to do 2 different point slope equations. If it's okay with you, I'm going to erase this and I'll just move it over to the top here. What did I say my slope was?
3 over 2.
Thank you. Just wanted to see if you're paying attention. So, my first equation, I'm going to use this one. Y minus negative 3. Is it the same as y plus 3?
Yes.
So I'm going to combine that step now. I didn't need that parentheses. I'll leave it there, but I don't need it. What's the slope?
3 over 2.
X plus 2. Did I need these parentheses on y plus 3? No. Yes. This is the point slope equation number 1 on the second problem, the one that has negative 2, negative 3, and 4, 6. Okay? I'll change colors for you. So over here it's y minus 6 equals 3 halves x minus 4. Did I do that right? You get a little stage fright sometimes. Okay? Are you listening to YouTube in your ear? Thank you. So now I need to convert each of these to slope-intercept form. I need to get the y's by themselves. First, I have to distribute. Oh, Mrs. Falk gave me fractions, and I hate fractions. Think of that as 2 over 1. What's 3 times 2? 6. What's 2 times 1?
2.
So 6 over 2 simplifies to what? 6 over 2 simplifies to
3 over 1.
3 over 1, which is just 3. See, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. I'm telling you, with decimals, it's worse. Now, over here, y minus 6. Oh, I haven't finished that one yet, but we'll do both these steps together. 3 halves x. 3 times 4 is... 3 times 4 is? 3 times 4. 12. Divided by 2, because I have 2 times 1. 12 divided by 2 is? One of these was positive and one of these was negative, so it's negative 6. Okay? I did both steps across. Okay? Let's just finish the red one. So what would I do next? Minus 3 from both sides. I get y equals 3 halves x. That means that the y-intercept must be 0, correct? This equation is going through 0, 0. Let's see what happens on the brown equation over here. I add 6 to both sides. Oh, it cancels out. I get y equals 3 halves x. Did I get the same thing both times?
Yes.
Woo! Now, I can just take one of those because they're the same thing and convert it to standard form. So I need the x's over here, correct? I subtract on this side. I get negative 3/2 x. This is a positive y equals what? 3/2 x minus 3/2 x is what? 0. It looks weird, but that's the answer so far. But what's the problem? Okay, if I subtracted 3/2 x on both sides. Let me actually do it for you. Minus 3/2 x minus 3/2 x. So here, I don't have any x's, correct? So I have negative 3/2 x. I have a positive y. All I had on this side of the equation was 3/2 x. And I took the 3/2 x away. What's left on that side? If you have 3/2, okay, if you have 3/2 of a cookie, you have an Oreo and a half. And I go over and I say, you're not allowed to eat in my class. I'm taking your Oreo and a half. How many Oreos and a half do you have left? You have 3. Okay, wait. We're going to try this. No, you guys are laughing. Shh. Okay, this is a little different. I have 2 Hershey Kisses. No. Yeah, you're going to take them from me. Take them away. Take the other one. That's disgusting. It's in foil, so you might want to spit that out and unwrap them. But how many Hershey Kisses do I have left? 0. So if I have 3/2 x's and I take away 3/2 x's, how many do I have left?
0.
There you go, and I have 0 kisses, which normally, hold on a second, which normally the teacher might be annoyed about, but Miss Falk is gaining a little extra weight, so, and I've been eating those things like crazy, so no, it's all good. Yeah. So, you subtract the 3 from both sides, so you get y equals 3/2 x. Okay. So, here's the question though. For those of you watching YouTube at home, yes, he just took the Hershey Kisses and plopped them in his mouth, tin foil and all. So hopefully he will at least take them out and unwrap the tin foil. Okay. So now, am I allowed to have a leading negative coefficient? Is my x allowed to be negative? No. Why? I don't know. I got no good answer for you. Mr. Parks, do you have any idea why we're not allowed to have leading x coefficients negative?
I do not know why. However, it is the rule that the a in ax plus by equals c must be a whole number and positive.
Now, Mr. Parks raised an interesting point. He said it must be a whole number and positive. I'm not making you turn into a whole number yet. Okay? But I am making you flip the signs. We will get to later why this needs to be a whole number. What's negative of 0? It's still 0. Technically, Mr. Parks is right. This is not even supposed to be a fraction, but see, I'm having mercy on your souls. And we're not doing that yet. We will. Was that thrilling?
So excited.
Scintillating?
So excited.
Okay. Thank you for watching our video today.